We're having a gathering this evening of people who are interested in or have experienced home birth. I'm extremely impressed with the caliber of the people and their commitment to the principles of home birth, and I've become a believer because I've witnessed this passion. I think everybody should look into it.
Well, you know, as soon as I looked at the idea of a home birth and mentioned this to people, all these naysayers jumped up and said, "Oh, that's so dangerous. What if this happens? And well, what if that happens?" So I started researching, and I'm a pretty good researcher. I looked into it very deep and with a very skeptical, logical point of view and very practical. And I found that most of the what-ifs were actually caused by the location of the birth and the hospital policies and things. And those things aren't even an issue at a home birth to begin with. And the really serious things, most of them are things that midwives are trained to head off because they see them coming ahead of time and you can avoid them.
I've had 2 natural births. The first was a home birth. And I wouldn't have done it any other way.
When she was pregnant with me, my dad and her did tons of research and read Anna Mae Gaskin's, spiritual midwifery, etc. And I was their first home birth. And so for me growing up with my subsequent other brothers that were born and that I was present for, I grew up in this environment of like, this is where birth happens. This is where you do it. You're pregnant and then one morning you wake up or one evening you're going to bed and you're like, oh, I think the baby's coming. And it becomes this whole community experience where her close girlfriends come over and everybody is around and supporting and there's food and the kids just watch. And so for me, when I got pregnant, it was a no-brainer. It was like, well, where does birth happen? It happens at home. That's just what happens. And I had every faith in the world that my body was going to be able to do what it was supposed to do, because why else would generations and generations of humans exist if babies
didn't? My kids, because I felt that it was the safest and healthiest way to bring them into the world. I had the control that I wanted. I could have the freedom to birth any way I chose, whether it was on the ground, in the bed, in the water, on my hands and knees. I didn't feel like I had to be scared or self-conscious. I didn't have to listen to other women screaming in the room next to me. I didn't have the pressure of nurses wanting to take the baby.
Birth because we could control our environment, have a good time, and make happen what we wanted to make happen, and not be forced into doing things that we might not want to do or feel uncomfortable in doing.
And I was happy with having a home birth. It was very peaceful and relaxing, and it was something that everybody could be a part of. And the whole family was really involved. And
there's no way midwifery should be illegal. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
There's a lot of different reasons, I guess. The most important for me is my ability to choose who I want to be there with and how it is going to happen. As best as I can with everything that will happen.
It's an easier, more peaceful way to have children.
And I had I don't want to say abnormal, but not the average birth for both of my children. And so with the first one, I felt really pressured in the choices I made as far as drugs and timing of things and rupturing the membranes. And so I wanted to have more control over the choices.
Yeah, and I wanted to be more involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt left out with the first one.
I just think that's so cool. It's just like a part of your life, your everyday life, just having a baby in the living room. That's amazing.
my husband actually came up with the idea of having a midwife because of the price of hospital bills.
It's a great choice to be able to have your baby at home and not have to go to a hospital.
That would be one reason not to have your baby in the hospital and to choose to have your baby at home.